Got my guitar, I've got my wine. Where we can go, live by the sea, swim in the ocean.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Welcome to Road to Vino, Adelaide Hills. Beautiful sunny day again here in the hills, and I'm quite excited because today
we are in search of Adelaide Hills Chardonnay, and this region produces some of the best in the country. We are talking big names.
Penfolds, Yattarna. It's probably the biggest.
Yeah. And Petaluma Chardonnay. Don't forget Petaluma Chardonnay. Started the craze in the 80s.
And the man that started this craze in the 80s, we're about to meet just down this road. I'm a bit nervous.
So am I.
Bloody legend, this man. We're talking, well, he's an officer of the Order of Australia for services rendered to the wine industry. Come on.
He was also voted Man of the Year by Decanter magazine in 2004. We're talking an absolute legend here.
This is Sir
Brian
Croser. And see, he got the double barrel introduction, and that's got to be special. We're obviously nervous.
Yes.
Look, this is an honour. He's given us his time. He's going to share with us his Tapanapa Chardonnay. We're going to share him with you. Come along, and hopefully we're going to try some bloody good wine.
Yes.
Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Tears.
And is this it? Is this the Tears Vineyard?
This is the Tears Vineyard. So, planted in 1979 and still going strong. Stronger than the owner, actually. Planted originally by my two daughters at that time. We didn't have the third. We're all out there as a family, shovels in hand.
How old were the girls?
One would have been 8 and one would have been 2.
Two.
So this is how you get ahead in the wine industry.
Yeah,
Slave child labour.
Exactly. Yeah. Chardonnay has got a pretty recent history in Australia, so we were there right at the beginning.
Is this the spot? Is this where you planted first?
Absolutely.
Right.
This was the first vineyard in the modern Adelaide Hills wine industry.
How did the public and consumers embrace it when you and I guess other people started getting it out there?
Well, you've got to go back through the sort of phases of the Australian wine industry, and we had in the 60s the red wine boom, and then from the middle 70s we had what's called the varietal wine boom, and everybody planted all of those varieties, Pinot Noir, Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, Gewürztraminer, Chenin Blanc, whatever, all in one vineyard. Didn't matter whether it was in the Riverland or it was in Clare or Barossa or McLaren Vale. They're all planted in the same vineyard, fruit salad vineyard era. And that's when you were introduced to wine, probably. And of course, Australian drinkers said, this is not good. Happily, underneath the varietal boom, the cool climate move was happening all over Australia. Tasmania was being replanted. This is from the middle 70s.
Yeah.
Yarra was being replanted, Adelaide Hills. And then along came Robert Parker, along came the plush red wine movement, which was said the only wine worthy of international recognition as fine wine from Australia is Shiraz. High alcohol, overripe, sweet Shiraz, and it pushed cool climate into the background.
I take it you weren't advocating that particular movement?
No, it's hard to fight against because it was good for Australia.
Right.
Not in net effect because we overplanted and now there's a huge surplus of that material.
I feel like we're sort of perched on a little bit of a comeback. Maybe that's wishful thinking. What do you feel?
Oh no, I don't think that's wishful thinking. I think we are. It's constant evolution and a restless search for increasing quality, which mostly happens out of the vineyard, not out of the winery. And there's no question in my mind that Australian Chardonnay at the top end is the best in the New World, and at its best approaches Premier Cru vineyard status quality in France.
Let's have a try.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. That's great.
The Tapanapa Tears Vineyard Chardonnay 2008 with Mr. Brian Croser. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers guys.
Cheers,
Welcome to
appreciate it.
Tears Vineyard. You've got to describe what you're smelling and tasting.
Not with Brian Croser. I'm too nervous to speak.
We get to edit this. We get to edit this.
Away you go.
It's certainly not over oaked at all. It's definitely in the background, isn't it? It's not. You haven't.
Very intentional, both the
Yeah.
style of oak we use and the quantity of new oak. And
The acid is immediately apparent for me.
Yep.
It's the first thing that greets you with this wonderful, it's carried on like a wave of lime, quickly turns into a bit of peach and a bit of apple, like red apple for me. And Some nice sort of brioche.
Yeah. That happens as
Almost
the
filling
glass
out.
warms up. We're sitting out here in the sun, and you do get the yeast because it's had full malolactic, so that brioche thing starts coming up.
Yep.
But under it is this some very fresh fruit and this very linear and savoury acid, which is the hallmark of tears. I often think it's like a tall, skinny, pregnant lady because the middle is so big, but it's got this length and the acid runs right through it. Yeah.
And it's actually reasonably voluptuous in mouthfeel, I think.
what I
But
was
the
saying.
acid cuts it through that, so it doesn't feel fat or oily.
Hence my analogy, which you'll probably cut out of this.
No, we don't cut that stuff out. You're stuck with that.
The first one that we made for Tapanapa was 2005, and this is 2008.
How they shape
Vineyard was planted in 79, as I said, and Petaluma still take half of the Chardonnay from here, and Tapanapa take the other half.
Is that when you say half, do you, because from what I've heard, you kind of get to walk the rows and choose?
No, that's not true. We both negotiate with the same owner, my wife.
gets up earlier?
Anne. So
You negotiate with the same person?
I pay the same price as Petaluma, and I get the piece that she gives me. So the only way I can get my share of it is take her to France once a year and take her to the most expensive hotel in the world, and it's an annual contract. That's
smart,
the problem.
your wife.
Yeah, she's a lawyer.
Very smart.
She's a lawyer, she knows how to win.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. It is an honour for us to... and such a pleasure to learn.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Brian, thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I can bring you evidence from my science.
Well, Brian Croser of Tapanapa. I'm still on a bit of a high. What a warm, generous, brilliant man. I tell you, Australian wine and Australian Chardonnay is very lucky to have him as its champion, and we were bloody lucky to try that Tapanapa. That was one of the best Chardonnays I've ever tasted.
Me too. Shortlisted for sure. And I reckon we've got a hot tip on another possible shortlist. I don't think it's going to be that easy to get to though.
Don't ask. All right, so we're at Waterfall Gully.
This is the very bottom of Mount Lofty, the highest point in the Adelaide Hills.
Why are we standing here?
Because we are meeting a man with a very sick sense of humour, Michael Hill-Smith.
Of Shaw & Smith, one of the most respected brands in the Adelaide Hills, and the maker of the Shaw & Smith M3 Chardonnay.
Which is our next hot tip. He was the first master of wine in Australia.
That's an honour, that part is an honour.
Yes.
But he agreed to meet us and taste us through his wine only if we walked up Mount Lofty, which is 4.2 kilometres.
Over 700 metres above sea level.
He thought that would give us an appreciation of altitude and cool climate, and that's why they make such good Chardonnay.
Yep. You ready for this?
I think it's cruel, to be perfectly honest with you, and I think this is above and beyond the call.
He is a master of wine after all.
So all right, well you go up and you go and taste it, and if it's good, give me a buzz. I'll drive up and...
That ain't happening, pal. That ain't happening. Let's do it.
Let's get it over with. It's better be a good Chardonnay, Justin.
Yeah.
Kind of watch it.
It's feeling quite tropical.
Oh, yeah. Sure, I'm getting your appreciation for good climate, Justin.
Glass of water?
Yes.
Do you have any water?
Miles, did you pack the water?
Oh, bugger.
Tapanapa.
Michael Tapanapa.
I figure it's his fault we're in this. And your fault you didn't bring any water. I'm bloody thirsty. Yeah, sorry.
Hey, mate, how are you?
Go on. He looks fit. Tapanapa. 450 metres altitude. Let's do this a little halfway stop.
It's a bit hard considering we've come about 200 metres, mate.
Get stuff.
Yeah, we can go if I say